folks, hello, welcome once again to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. It's time for another action figure review here on the channel, and as you can see on the screen in front of you right now, today's installment is going to be taking a closer look at the new G.I. Joe classified Series Zandar figure. So stick around, I'm going to give you all the ins and outs, ups and downs that you need to know. So if you've got this guy on pre-order or you're thinking about picking one up, then if it's a good spending decision for you, I'll give you plenty of info to make up your mind. So let's talk about the aesthetic and the visual experience that I've had with the figure over the last couple of days. I'll talk you through the articulation and poseability, then give you a walkthrough of all the accessories and added value. And with all that said and done, you should have a good, thorough wealth of info about this fig to know whether it's good enough for your cash or not. But before we get into that, let's go back in time and visit past Chris, taking a look at the box for the very first time when it arrived on my doorstep here at MoDXtra Games and Collectibles Towers. So let's do it, let's go. All right then, folks. Well, here is Zandar in packaging. Arrived on my doorstep a bit earlier on today. Just got around to opening up the outer box, and here we can see that it's the standard G.I. Joe Classified Series windowed packaging that we're getting on everything now. Got the carbon fiber little kind of motif in there, Cobra, his name, the Cobra logo, G.I. Joe Classified, and then of course the window showing off the figure and all the goodies in the front. Then on the back we can see that he's number 146 in the line. We've got then the digital render of Zandar. This is the kind of Dreadnought garage scene. We've seen it from indoors with a couple of the other Dreadnoughts and outdoors. There's Road Pig's shield resting up against the drums there and the grape soda cans on the floor, which is lovely. A couple of breakout windows showing off a few key features like the sculpting on his shoulder pads and his tattoos. Legal bollocks and malarkey across the bottom. This is the import sticker. Big shout out once again to InDemandToys for sourcing their stuff from over in the Far East and servicing hungry Joe collectors like me here in the UK. And then of course we've got the file card with his skills. Let's have a closer look at these and learn a little bit about Zandar together, shall we? All right then, well first up we've got this dollar sign with the crossed bones there. This is reflective of Zandar's secondary career as a cybersecurity specialist, so he hires his skills out to stop pirates from hacking into your computer system. Got some massive corporate contracts and frankly doesn't really need to be doing the Dreadnought work, but he does it for the fun anyway, you know? Then we've got this little arrow symbol here. This is reflective of Zandar's love of Warhammer 40k. He's a hobbyist. He collects miniatures, paints them. He's a Chaos player, and this is the top half of the Chaos symbol, so I bet you didn't know that. This here, this netting, this is fishnets. Because he also likes to perform in a drag performance. He's a drag performer at the weekend. Incredibly good, great singing voice, excellent performer, and that's the fishnets that make up part of his uniform. It's kind of a bit like Black Canary from DC Comics, if you can picture that. And then finally we've got this little eyeball with a line through it there. It's because Zandar's scared of the dark. Has been since he was a little kid. Has always thought that maybe there were monsters in the wardrobe or under the bed, and so his sister, Zorana, has to come and give him a cuddle and settle him at night. And he still doesn't go to bed without his nightlight on. And fair play. Do you know what? You got to keep a hold of your inner child, even if it is the trauma. And on the side here, we've got the number 146 and the painted artwork. Great for the mincing box collectors who want to line them up on their shelves. And then on the other side, we've got the QR code to nowhere, the sepia version of the painted artwork, and a repeat of the skill set. So there we are then, folks. There's a quick look at the packaging. I'm going to go crack this bad boy open, get some good quality man-child playtime in. And after I've had some, hands-on experience with the figure, I'll return with some review thoughts. So stick around. Future Chris is going to be with you in 3, 2, 1. Okay, folks. Well, here is Zandar as he came out of the box, and I'm going to start with a full head-to-toe view just to kind of talk about the overall aesthetic and visual experience before I dive in on some details. And as you can see, this is definitely a kind of modernized, classified-ized reinterpretation of the character. All the kind of core vestigial elements are present. The flash of red hair, the blue bandana, the red paint tattoo work stuff. He's got the grey pants, the brown boots with the gold trimmings on them, the shoulder pads, but they've obviously embellished quite a bit by adding the flak jacket bulletproof vest thing here, the sculpting, the finer detail sculpting that you can get now in kind of 6-inch scale with regards to the shoulder pads and the belt buckle and the chains hanging off him. They've expanded his gloves a little bit more, added tattoos, put more trimmings on him and stuff. Still got the pink little bit of Zorana's coat's neckerchief sash thing going on there. So the core visual identity of the character remains the same, very reminiscent, vestigial kind of presence from the OG vintage character as he appeared in the figures and, you know, in the comic books, but they've updated and add their own classified style embellishments. Bringing him a bit nearer so we can conduct a closer inspection of the finer details, and we'll start with the head sculpt there. We can see it's a good head sculpt on him there. Nice definition in the facial features, great paint applications on the lips, the face paint, the eyes, the eyebrows, etc., etc. He's got this lovely little cheeky smirk thing going on, which I enjoy. I like it when there's a bit of an expression in there. And of course, his very handsome, hypnotic baby blue eyes in the mix too, that nobody could turn down, you know, if he was asking you for a favour, which is nice. Then some extra details like the earrings with their own individual paint applications on there. And then a really great sculpt on the hair. You can see coming down the back here with the rocker mullet in place with a bit of a wave falling across his shoulders, and the sculpted details you can see there in the back of the headscarf where he's knotted it round the back. So yeah, really lovely facial sculpt there. Got a lot of character, a lot of personality. Really enjoying that element of the figure. Another visual element that really leaps out of the gold trimming sections. We can see we've got these wonderful skulls sculpted in on his shoulder pads and some little bit of kind of, well, it's probably bronze than gold, maybe, I don't know, but it's got this lovely chainmail piece all sort of torn up and knackered hanging down through the gaps of his shoulder there. And then a matching sculpted skull on the other side, which is nice. And these gold trimmings are continued as a kind of little motif throughout the figure. So you can see it here on his belt buckle, on the chains that's hanging down the sides there, the trimmings on his clasps, on his boots, and then this really nasty little kind of little spiky nut kicker boot cap thing on there. There's loads of lovely sculpted texture detail in the figure as well. So you can see these individual panels on the shoulder pads, but the shoulder pads themselves have got a few dents and marks in them. Got that leathery texture on the neckerchief there, obviously coming from Zorana's leather jacket, but then all this padding and stuff is sculpted in, got texture detail on it there. The leather of the belt, the leather on the inside of this glove here on his left arm, the leathery boots, and these extra little bits of trimmings in there, which is really nice to see. Really into this sculpted belt buckle as well, and also I'm always a big fan when the belt buckle and the belt loops are painted a different colour to the rest of the belt. And even the little clippy bits that are attaching his chains on there are painted separately too, which is nice. I just popped the neck scarf off for a minute as well to show off a wee little visual element, a little visual storytelling element in there. You can see he's got his neck scarf from being cut across the throat, but also you can see how the paint or tattoos even have been continued down into the neck, and then they're underneath this chest piece as well. And Lenny did say on a stream that you can take this off so you can see the pattern properly underneath, just like your OG retro fig. Yeah, lots to like on this. You know, got this little sculpted pattern on the back of this glove on his left hand, and then the little brass plate on his right hand. You can also see he's got the Dreadnoks tattoo paint application here on his forearm, on his right forearm. Little things like the straps on the shoulder pads are in their own brown leather look. We've got textured detail in things like the knife sheath around here at the back, and then of course the textured detail in the pants too. Really gives it lots of depth and, just personality. Love it. This thigh holster and the knee pads are a little bit plasticky looking. It's a shame. Lets the figure down in terms of the overall visual experience, but they're fine, and those a bit more capable at modding than me could probably sort that out with a wee bit of a wash or something. But when you got these lovely deep blues and the texture detail and all knocks and scrapes on the shoulder pads and stuff, and it's nice all the way throughout. And then you got this very kind of toy plastic knee and this very toy thigh holster there, which is a shame. That said, it's still got the sculpted details in and stuff, so maybe I'm being a little overcritical there, I don't know. So overall, yeah, I think he's a very visually interesting figure. Definitely got some shelf presence, nice and eye-catching, lovely details in there. He's a lot of personality, a lot of character. And I'm a fan of the colour combinations as well. I love the pink on top of the blue with the flash of red hair and stuff. Not as symmetrical as usual, but that's fine. The Dreadnoks are a little bit more rough and ready around the edges and less aesthetically balanced, say the uniformality of a Cobra Trooper that I've commented on before. But yeah, I find him just visually interesting. He catches the eye. and I think it's another great addition to the Dreadnought roster. So I am giving Zandar a thumbs up as far as the visual experience goes. Okay, so there's the visuals. Let's now take a closer look at the articulation. Okay, folks, well, as I often say on these reviews, it's standard G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation on Zandar here. So if you're not interested in seeing the walkthrough, please avail yourself of the chapter stamps that I put in down below and move to the accessories and added value section. However, if this is the first ever G.I. Joe Classified Series review you've ever watched, or you're interested to find out whether there's any particular quirks with this figure compared to others, then stick around and I'll give you a walkthrough of the articulation. And I'm going to start up top with the head. So it's the ball at the top of the head, ball at the base of the neck. However, the articulation up here is a little bit obscured by the rock and roll mullet and the neckerchief. You can take the necker scarf off to give yourself more range of motion. However, the back look is no good. But in theory, you can go down. In theory, you can go up. You've got the full 360 if you can get the mullet past the scarf. And you got a little bit of tilt and swivel in there. So yeah, you can take this off. It does give you an increased range of motion, but the mullet is actually more of the issue there. Moving down into the shoulders, we've got a butterfly joint there. The butterfly joints are quite restricted, really. They're not great. I don't think it's anything to do with the shoulder pad. I just think there's something to do with the way they've sculpted the shoulder butterfly joint design in there. The shuffle isn't fantastic. I've tried heating them up, but not had much joy. But they're pegged in also with a hinge. You can get the full 360 all the way around, but your T isn't fantastic. Your hinge doesn't come out very far, and that is because of the shoulder pads. You got a swivel there at the top of the bicep and tricep. Pinless double elbow that'll get you up to there. Then pegged in hands that can swivel all the way around in the joint there. And then both hands, the left and the right, are on an up and down hinge. He has got an ab crunch in the middle. It is a little bit obstructed by the vest, but not too much. You can get some decent forward and some decent back out of him there. And then it's the ball joint in the waist, giving you some swivel and twilt. The twilt? Some swivel and tilt there. Twilt. That's what we're going to call it from now on. Giving you some twilt in the middle. Then into the groin, it's the standard drop-down joint there in the top of the legs, giving you decent forward. Out to the Russian ballet to there. Just a good range of motion in there. Then you got swivel at the top of the thigh. Pinless double knee that'll get you up to there. Boot cut at the top of the boot line, sculpted in with this little bit sticking up at the front there. Sculpted, which is good. And then we have the standard hinge and rocker in the ankles. Regulars around these parts will know I'm a big fan of the G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation scheme, and it's no different with Zandar. Big thumbs up there, a few little quirks here and there, but overall, I've had a good experience posing him up and trying to get him into various kind of little scenes with his sister and with his brother and stuff, and it's been fine. I've not found myself particularly obstructed or challenged in any way getting him into a kind of position that I'm looking for. I haven't done much with the head, though. He's generally sort of side by side with one of them. So if you were looking for more upward motion, then you'd probably struggle there. But otherwise, overall, very good. Thumbs up. Standard G.I. Joe Classified Series fun. Okay, then let's now take a closer look at the accessories and added value, shall we? And Zandar, folks, is all about the weaponry, and we'll start with his two bladed pieces of gear. He's got this little daggery thing, and then this axe knife thing. There's a few folks who watch this channel actually who are pretty good with names of weapons and stuff. If anyone would care to educate me on what that would be described as, then please do let me know. But these are decent sculpts. Always a fan when they've got the metallic paint app on the bladed sections of the weapons. Nice little sculpting there in things, the handles and the hilt and stuff. And got sculpted details down here in the handle and the hilt on this axey thing too, which is good. These can both also be stored on the figure. The thigh holster takes his axey thing. And around the back here, we've got the knife sheath. Then we have his handgun. I don't think we've seen this one before in the line. Someone will maybe tell me otherwise. It's got a very kind of unique look to it. Definitely a janky sort of feel. It's an interesting one. Single piece of sculpted plastic, pretty firm, not too bendy, not as gummy as we've seen in the past, which is fine. Yeah, it's eye-catching. It's different. It's a bit interesting. Although what it hasn't got is a little hole in the barrel for like blast effects and things, which I noticed when I was trying to take a picture with it the other day, which is rare. You don't often see weapons in Classified without the little blast effect hole in, but that's fine. And this can be stored on the figure as well. He's got a holster there on his vest. just goes in here like so. It's a bit of a tight fit. You have to kind of squish it in. And then we've got this little strappy bit with the pop stud that comes over the top. I am not a fan of these. I haven't ever been a fan of these. The stud is a really soft, rubbery plastic and very hard to pop in and keep whole. His is all right. It's probably one of the better ones. It compares better to, say, Copperhead, but I've never been a fan of these stupid straps. Hate them. Then we've got his main weapon, which is like this spear gun thing, this long-distance spear gun. Very interesting, very unique, obviously, drawing heavy inspiration from the old vintage version of the character. Got the big old beefy scope on the top there, paint application on the arrowhead, on the large harpoon on it, which is nice. Got the big kind of, what's that, like gas injection canister for the propulsion. Interesting sculpt, interesting shape, quite firm. It's a little bit wobbly, but definitely better than we've seen with Classified in the past. So yeah, very happy with that. Really interesting, unique, eye-catching piece of weaponry, which is fun. And then finally we have his backpack here, and one single piece of sculpted plastic. Got lots of lovely kind of sculpted details in there. Got the spare harpoons mounted in little pockets either side. This isn't interactive though, they're sculpted in, but it's fine. Interesting look, interesting feel, unique to the character, which is fun. The peg's a bit rubbery. It's a bit wibbly wobbly. I must admit, I struggle to get it into his back sometimes. You got to make sure your vest is nicely lined up. And then with the peg hole in the actual back of the figure, and then there's a very sort of specific little angle that you can get it in at, which is difficult to get. Because look, can you see the wobble on that? Bit of a weird irritation thing, but it's doable. You just got to kind of make sure you're going in straight, a right angle rather than the sort of downward angle you might normally go at. But I'm just nitpicking now. No, the accessory selection is solid. It's a thumbs up. I mean, it's a bit pedestrian, I suppose, in some respects. However, there's lots of nice, unique elements in there that help your storytelling and are reflective of the character and what Zandar's all about. He's a member of the Dreadnoks. There's going to be lots of blades. There's spiky things going on. It's just how they roll, and it all fits in with the character's personality and his kind of preferred specialist weapon and all that kind of thing. So, is it flashy? No. Is it fun? Yes. Does it fit the character? Yes. Has it got a little something in there to suit the fans of the OG look and feel? Yes. So, got to be a thumbs up, hasn't it? Yeah, it's a decent accessory selection. Okay, there we go. There's the accessories. Let's now pop him next to a couple of figures, shall we? Okay, folks, well, here's Zandar with Zartan and Zorana. What you would argue, I suppose, is the obvious display setup for this character with his two siblings, or not siblings, depending on which continuity you follow. There's some nice synergies between them. Obviously, the twins here have got some, some little uniformal elements like the shoulder pads and the red hair piece going on and stuff, but there's some nice uniformal elements with Zartan too, with the way the shoulder pads put together and stuff. I'd possibly say, I don't know, this is the mainline Zartan here. I'd possibly say you'd get a better look, a better feel with the retro card-backed one with the blue chest plate and the blue trimmings, just to put a splash of colour in here to make him sit with the blues with the other pair. I don't own the retro card-backed one, be very interested on the views of anyone who does, who's popped them all together or will pop them together. I don't know. This has landed a bit handier here in the UK than it has the rest of the world. Here's Zandar next to his fellow wave mate Leatherneck. And here's Zandar with the Saw Viper and Serpentor, a slightly out of focus Serpentor. There's Saw Viper there being a stand-in for Overkill, if you wanted to put together a little coil display. Here's Zandar going around then on the turntable, so you can take a 360 view of the figure. A very slow-going turntable. I think the battery's starting to die. That's the high-speed mode, folks. I ain't got no batteries in the house. We've used them all in Christmas gifts and stuff. So you'll just soldier on through with the 360 view on the very slow-going high-speed setting while I offer up some final thoughts. And I'm happy is the sum total of it. It's definitely a recommend. Thumbs up. Good, solid chunk of G.I. Joe Classified. An excellent Dreadnought to add to the Classified line. He's got everything you'd want, really. He might as well vary, I suppose, depending on how much of a fan you are of the character overall. I'm a fan of the character. Very pleased to have another Dreadnought in the line. Very pleased to complete the twins, the Dreadnought twins. I don't know what they're going to do with the Dreadnought subsection now. They're going to get into more and more obscure characters. A Zanzibar would be good on a little skiff or something, but other than that, it's going to get increasingly more obscure. But overall, yeah, it's good, solid figure, but the finer detail in it's really good. You know, and some of the stuff that with other figures that you don't get, like I know it sounds weird, but the belt loops being painted in and the belt buckle being painted in and stuff, it's just got some extra little attention to detail finishing touches that I really, really enjoy. And while the weaponry selection is just that, just a weaponry selection, I think it's good for the characters, some nice unique pieces. Yeah, it's a recommend. Overall, pleased with the Zandar. So, of course, let me know your thoughts down below. If you found this useful, if this is going to help you make a purchase decision, then do all the YouTubey stuff, press the buttons and things, and make me a happy guy. Shooting for 2,000. I'm creeping up on it, folks, so help a brother out if you can. But overall, yeah, very happy with Zandar, and I hope you will be too when I think he's due to start shipping in January for you folks in North America, so that'll be fun. All right, well, I'll wrap that one up there. That was a weird ending. I kind of lost my way with the ending there. And there you go. Live in the moment, batteries. Do you see it? It's really oh, kill the horse, Chris, it's dead. Kill the horse, Chris, it's dead. Oh my god, just end the video, Chris, it's dead. All right, take it easy, folks. Have a great day. Ta-da.